Hi Dragonflies, welcome back to Dragonfly Spirit Studio. I'm Lynn Bauer. I opened my palette today and discovered something that's very annoying, mold. And if you've been painting in watercolor for a while, you may also have encountered this problem. So I thought I would clean up the problem on my palette and make a video to share with you what I know about dealing with mold on your watercolors. So I have this palette that I use mostly for teaching and traveling, and I don't open it that often, and today I opened it up and I have mold growing in one of the wells. And unfortunately, by the time you discover it, it may be that these mold spores have managed to migrate over the entire palette, even though you're not seeing it yet, and it's about to start growing in a lot of different places. So you don't want to just toss all this paint. Watercolor paint's fairly expensive, and unfortunately, even if you toss it all, clean the palette out, I've even wash the palette with bleach and refill it, and I get mold again. So what I have found actually does work for me is, first of all, as soon as you detect it, as soon as you see it, take out any visible mold. Just pull out that portion and then try to salvage paint that doesn't have mold on it. So I'll leave that little blob in there. It doesn't look like it has any mold. But I'm going to try to pull out all the pieces that have any visible mold on them. Okay, so now that we've removed all the visible mold, the next thing I'm going to do is I have this little spray bottle, and this one has red on the cap to remind me that this bottle has inside it isopropyl alcohol instead of water. So this is also called rubbing alcohol or isopropanol, and it comes, usually you can buy it in the pharmacy in various concentrations, anywhere from 70 to 99%. Doesn't seem to matter too much what the concentration is. This works regardless. And I'm just, as you can see, I'm very liberally misting the whole palette, all the wells and the mixing surfaces, everything. Now, it doesn't always completely solve the problem to just do one pass with the alcohol, so I'm going to come back the next day and spray everything again, and again probably for a total of 3 to 4 days, and that usually will do it. And each time I will check and see if there is any new mold appearing. Now, you don't have to wait until the end of 3 or 4 days to paint again. You can do this process, let everything evaporate, and then once the alcohol is evaporated, you can go ahead and paint. But one of the things that makes mold hard to eradicate is as you're putting your brush in the various wells, you may be transferring mold spores that you can't see from one well to another. And that's why going back and repeating the alcohol spray and cleaning off any new visible mold seems to be the key to long-term success with this. And I say long-term success, but in fact, these mold spores are in the air everywhere, and so anytime your palette is open, there's the potential for them to fall into a well, just carried by a little speck of dust in the air. So it'd be nice to be able to say, here's a way of preventing it from ever happening. But unfortunately, sometimes you just wind up with mold in your palette. So this is what I know about a method that does work and doesn't seem to harm your brushes or your palette or your paints. You do have to let the alcohol evaporate before you start painting each session, but that doesn't take very long. So I hope you never have to encounter mold, but if you do, here's a solution that doesn't involve throwing away all of your paint.